In this video I'm going to be trying to copy this design from FreeRice. I've got a basic layout of an index.html, index.css file and an assets folder. I think to begin with, we should look at the assets and try to save them. So if you were to just go to the background here, section, role main, within the CSS you'll see the background. Click on current source and just save this to the assets folder. I've already done that previously. And same thing for the logo as well. If you just click here and then click on the logo, it should take you to the element where you can see the current source. If you click on it and again right click and save as. And one more I think is the globe. Same thing again, current source and just save as. Actually, we've got a bowl here as well. If you just do the same thing here, but this time go to, if you just click on it, hit the ball, it will take you to the CSS right here. And this is the current source. Okay, so is this an image? I think it is, yes. We might need this as well for the footer. So we've got this. Let me just save this as well. Name this footer. Footer. And then I think that's all we need in terms of images. We can get straight into doing the HTML. So the way I'll set this up is I'll write all the HTML first and then add the CSS. Just think it's easier that way. I'm gonna add the HTML boilerplate. This is just a shortcut on Visual Studio. You could just type in HTML:5, enter, and it should give you a boilerplate, HTML boilerplate. So let's see, what do we have? First of all, we've got some icons here. So we'll just have to, there's a library called Font Awesome, which is what I'm going to use for the icons. Font Awesome, CDN. Click on the first one and copy this link for all.min and then just paste it inside the head. So this will help us get the icons from this library. So if we go to Font Awesome icons, you should be able to search for menu, for example, and then we want the first one. Try to copy this. If you just click on it, it will copy it and then add it here. Let's just check if the icons are working. Looks like it is. There we go. So let's just remove that for now. I'll comment it out. Alright, what do we see at the very top? We see a nav bar with 3 different sections, right? So I'm going to do that first. Show you correct nav bar. I'm going to stick to divs just for clarity. We call this a nav bar. Within this nav bar we have 3 different sections. So you could do, there's many different ways of doing the same thing, but this is one of them. We'll have 3 different sections, 3 different divs. We'll call this the menu, S for section, and then copy that twice. We've got the logo section and the sign in section. Logo section, sign in section. That should be fine. So that's the top part right here. If we move on to the second section, where you can see there is a background image as well. If you haven't already saved that, you can always just go to section and then current source and save that. but I've already done that. So we've got a background section. Maybe we could call this the hero, which is what it's usually referred to as hero. And this will have a background to it, and it will have 2 items here. Actually, we'll make it 3, because I believe on some screens you actually have a 3rd section here with 2 images. So we'll just do that. We'll assume it's 3 different sections. We'll add a div class of what section it is, global states. So just write global states as a class. Copy, paste twice. This section, I think this is a game that you can answer, and then you'll see fruits appear or something appear in this bowl. But I believe that would require a bit of JavaScript, but this tutorial is simply HTML CSS, so we're going to skip that. We will just follow or copy the layout, but it won't be as functional as this website. Even for the menu, for example, if you were to click on it, you'll see this menu, but that would require a bit of JavaScript, so we're not going to do that. We're just focusing on copying the layout right now. So the second part, we'll just name it as game container, that's fine. And then images container, because we have a few images that usually appear on here on the side, but for some reason they're not showing up. And then we have the last part, which is footer. What do we have in the footer? We have 2 sections really. We've got this on the left and this on the right, so we'll do that. This is the logo, container, and underneath it you have, I believe that's the address, so we're going to do address. And this is the left side. For the right side, we have just some random text. So we're going to do F content for footer content. And then we've got social icons. Social icons, yeah, that's fine. Okay. So we've got the left side and the right side here, but we want to be able to push this to the left side and this to the right side. We're going to wrap it around, we're going to wrap it with a div and call it footer content. That should be okay. Just put everything inside and just space it out so it's a bit more clear for you. Okay, I think in terms of, okay, we still have something at the bottom here. So this is part of the footer, but it's outside the content. So I put another div here. We've got this line and then the copyright text. For the line, we can just do HR. For the copyright, we could just add a copyright container again. That'll do. And then we'll just literally copy and paste this into here. This is supposed to be a link. So we're gonna right click copy, or maybe right click copy link address, and then wrap this in an A tag. Whoops, so that's the link sorted. If we just save this and have a look at it, it's gonna look terrible. Do you know what? It's empty actually. This looks fine. So we've got the bottom part sorted. Let me just remove these right now. So we've got the bottom part sorted, kind of. The colors are a bit off, but everything else is empty, of course, because we haven't added anything in. I'm gonna take this menu right here and put it inside where it belongs, right here. If you have a look at that, you've got the menu at the top. Okay, I think now we can move on to the CSS. So that's the HTML done. I'm just going to recap again so that it's a bit more clearer for you. What we've done here is basically just looked at this page section by section, starting at the top. We've got the nav bar. So we've created a class or a div with class nav bar, and within it you can see there's 3 different sections. So we've created 3 different divs inside the nav bar, each one with a different class. For the menu section, for the logo section, and for the sign-in section, right here, 1, 2, 3. And then outside of this nav bar, so we can just close this down, we've got the div for class hero, which is the section with the background. In here, as you can see, we've got a section right here, another section right here, and I believe there's a 3rd section with a few images. So we're just gonna try and mimic that as well. So I've got 3 sections in here as well to reflect that: global states, game container, images container. So that's all of this. And then the last part is the white part at the bottom, the footer. We've got 2 sections, one to the left, one to the right. So we've done footer, and inside that footer div, we've got the footer content. So everything inside this is a footer content. And we've got the logo container. Let me just remove these extra lines. We've got the logo container, which is this. And then we have the address underneath it. And we have the F content and the socials icon. I'm already seeing a problem here because these 2 are together, right? The logo and the address. So we need to have a way of grouping these together. So I think we might need to wrap it in a div. And just, we can even call this left if we wanted to. There's many ways that we can do this, and I'm just thinking of all of them at the same time, which is not good, but we'll separate things. So we'll have left side and move these 2 in here just so that it's clearer. And we have the right side and move this in here. That's it. So now it's clear. You've got the footer content, which is all of this, and then you have the left side, which is this, and then you have the right side, which is this. Sorry, this and the socials. Yep. And then at the bottom, you've got the line and that part that we've completed for the copyright. So now if we move on to the CSS, and I'm gonna actually split the screen here so that I can see both files at the same time, just to help myself. Whoops. Oh, there we go. Okay, we've got that open now. So starting with the nav bar, we've got the nav bar class. Nav bar. Actually, well, let's do some defaults first. We've got box sizing, border box, just as defaults, and margin 0, padding 0 as well. These are just defaults that we're setting for the entire page. Let's start with .nav bar. So again, we're seeing this as 3 different sections, but before we do that, actually, you can see that the width of this entire page is starting from this side, or at least the width of the content of this page starts from this side on the left up to here on the right. So you've got all this white space on the right and the left. So we need to account for that as well. And the best way to do that is to just give a width of, for example, 80%. So we're given the nav bar width 80%, and we're going to do display flex. We're going to do justify content space between, to give it space in between each one. And also, what do we have inside the nav bar? We have the menu S, we have the logo S, and we have sign in S. We're not necessarily going to add anything to this yet, but I just like to keep everything set up. Let's have a look at what we have so far. Did we link the CSS? No, of course we haven't. Let's just link the CSS quickly. Rel style sheet ref index.css. That should do it. Okay, you see the spacing change there because of these defaults, but that's fine. We've got the nav bar, and we need to add the logo image here, I believe. So we've got that in the assets, the logo.cvg. You should have saved this earlier. If you haven't, you can do that right now. And the source will be assets. Let's just separate into a new line so it's more readable. So you've got an image tag with the source assets logo.cvg, and if you just check it, it won't show up because it's white, so it might be there, I just can't see it. Let's see, maybe not, I don't know. But what we can do temporarily is we can actually bring in the background image, or we can just set a temporary color for the background or for the body, maybe blue, just to see if it's been pulled in. It doesn't look like it's been pulled in. Yeah, the logo hasn't been pulled in yet. So let's just check the console. Sources, assets. So it is being pulled in, but it's not being displayed. So I guess we need to give it width and height. So we just give it a class logo, and then right here we'll do logo width. We'll just give it 50 pixels, height 50 pixels for now, and remove this background color. What we want to do really is for the hero section, we want to give it the background, but I think the nav bar as well has a background image. If you go to the console and just inspect this nav bar section, you've got this background color. So we're going to take this and we're going to take the box shadow as well, and then copy it into the nav bar. So that should show us the logo, hopefully. We still can't see the logo, but let's just continue with sorting this out. So this thing has a height of around 80. So let's just add a height of around 80, and we actually want to remove this for now, this 80, all these commented out, so that we can cover this whole spot. Okay, and then we want to, within the nav bar, we want to add another class actually. So we want to add a nav bar content, and this one will have a width of 80 so that we can push the items in. You see, I'm editing the HTML on the fly, but at the beginning I just had a skeleton to help me speed things up. So now in the nav bar content, if I go to the CSS into width 80, and then margin, I think the margin goes here. I didn't save this, of course. So now that I've saved it, you can see that it's been pushed in, and you can see the logo is very small, but it's there. Okay, so what we want to do is we actually want to change or move these to the nav bar content. Whoops. So we want to move this down to nav bar content, because this is where the content is actually being held. So this is the div class nav bar is just a wrapper which has the background, the height, etc. But this is where the content is actually being held. So we want to space out this content. So that's why we have display flex here, justify content, and I believe we also need a flex direction. But let's just check. So this looks fine. Okay. I think we don't need the flex direction. What flex direction does is basically, right now you have the images or the content spread from left to right, but with flex direction you can do up from top to bottom. So you can change this to column and it will be top to bottom, as you can see. Let me increase the size of this logo to maybe 100, 200, let's say. It might be too big, but it's fine. Okay, I think that was too big and it's disappeared now. So we're going to do 100 instead. And check again. How big is this? Let's just check. 200 by 64. Is that right? 210 by 64. So the width is 210. The height is 64. There we go. We just need to remove the flex direction because we want it to be from left to right. It's looking better. And then on the left side we want to have the logo. Sorry, the sign-in. So the sign-in will just have text for the meantime, and that will be login. If we check that quickly, you'll see it's right here, so we need to maybe move it down a bit. In order to do that, we can go in and just do it up here and do align items center. That should center everything. There we go. And then we want to do color white and maybe font size, bump it up to 2 This might be too big, but let's try. It's fine. The image or the logo, we want to move that down a bit, so we'll do position relative and then top 10 pixels. That moves it fine. We'll keep this logo for now. We'll show you just make it smaller. Sign in S, font size, we'll do 1 EM, 0.5 I guess. So we do 0.5. Yeah, that's fine for now. If we were to close this, let's see if it's actually similar. Okay, this is clearly less than 80%. So we're gonna try 60% instead. Whoops, that's looking better. It looks like it's even 40%. Alright, maybe 50. 45? Surely. Yeah, that's better. It looks like it's 646 or something. Whoops. There we go. That is perfect. Good enough for me. And now we want to add the background. This is the hero section. So if you go down to the hero section, let's get rid of these because we didn't use them. Okay, so this is the, I'm just gonna add a comment. How do you add a comment in this thing? There we go. Hero section. I'm gonna add a comment here as well. It's nice to put comments just to help you out. This was the nav bar section, and then we also want to add in the footer section for later on. Okay, so back to the hero, we've got hero class, and we also have global states, global stats, sorry, game container, and images container. I can't spell. Alright, so for hero we see that we have a background, so let's do that first. We've got background image URL, it will be assets, and then bg.png is what I've saved it. So make sure you just type in the name that you've saved it as here. So just go to the file and make sure you use that same name. And we've got a few attributes that we want to edit here. So let's just check background image CSS. You've got the background image repeat, position, size, and then you can do it all in one as well, the short form. So let's do this. We've got the background image, background repeat. Or do I need a semicolon here? Yeah, that's what it is. Background repeat, no repeat. Background position, center, and background size. Let's put cover for now. If we just check this out, and I presume it won't work because we didn't add a height as I thought. So if we were to check the height of this, minimum height 100 VH, minus 337 or 334. So we've got, we can literally just copy it. So min height calculates 100 viewport length minus that much, and that's looking good. Let's close this for now. That's looking very good. And let's close this console. We want to add the first box right here, the global states. It has a background. I believe it's the same as this one, but we're going to check. Click here, click on the box. The background looks like it's the same color. So that's fine. So the global states background color will be this again. And it will have a padding of say 5 pixels and 10 on the sides. And the text, we can just copy this text right here and put it inside the HTML. I should have done this earlier really in the HTML, but I forgot. So inside the global stats, we've got this text, we've got an actual header here, so we'll do h4 and do h4 global stats, and then inside here we'll put this in a paragraph, wrap this up in a paragraph. There we go. Actually, the paragraph should end here, and then wrap this in a span. There we go. Just get rid of this extra tag. There we go. So what we've done here is just added a h4 with this text, and a paragraph with this text, and a span with this text. And it looks like we need to color this in as well, so we'll give it another span. Class gold. as you can see, this is colored in. We'll just take the color from here and do gold color. There we go. So that should look a bit better. Nope. At least we have the content there. That's what we want. For the hero, what we need to do as well is give it a display flex. Possibly. Let's just check. Yeah, that's fine. Display flex, and this right here will have a height of global stats will have a height of I need to keep checking this page. This height is what is that? 134 px. Yep. And we need to make sure that the content inside here is also pushed in, just like the nav bar. It's not on the side of the page, but it's in the middle, just like here. So to do that, we might actually have to add another div inside hero, which will be just like up here, nav bar content. Here it'll be hero content, just so that we can push all the contents to the middle of the page. So if I add another class here, hero content width, that'll be, what did we put for the nav bar? We put 46. Let's put 46% again, and that should center it. But it didn't, of course, because we need to move this flex down here. Oops. We need to move this flex down here, and that should center it. Still didn't center it. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Align items, justify content. I think it's the margin auto that we need. We need to put a margin auto here, because right now what we've done is we've made this 46%, but it's not in the center of the page. So when you put margin, when you add a margin of auto, it should center it for you. So we do margin auto, we save, we check, and it's lovely positioned in the center. You see there's a space from here to here, so let's add that space in the hero content, I believe. Yeah, padding top. This should do it. There we go, just what we wanted. Maybe more than 10 though. We do 15 pixels. These borders are rounded, so this is taking way too long. These borders are rounded, so let's round them. Border radius, I don't know how long I've been recording for, but this is taking way too long. I honestly didn't expect it to take this long, but that's fine, as long as we get it done. And I actually see something wrong with the background, but we'll get to that later. Let's just finish this and then space this stuff out. So we want to change the colors of this to white of the content, and then we want to space it properly. So the global stats has a H4, right? So to do that, I think I should use padding, and it's the 4 digits are top left, top right, bottom left, top, I think it's top right, bottom left, I can't quite remember, top right, bottom left. So we want the top to be 10 pixels and the right to be 20 pixels, and then these get auto-filled with the same values. It's looking better, but this is a bit too much, so let's just put 10. And if you do the same values here, you can just opt out all the values except one. So this will apply 10 pixels to the top, to the left, to the right, and to the bottom in the correct order. So that's looking better. I think we need to change this H4 to H3. That's fine, and then change this to H3. And then we've got a paragraph. So we do P, and inside this we want to do the same thing, padding 10 pixels. 0.10, yeah, that's better. You can see that this number is on a new line, so we need to do that as well. Just add a BR. That should take care of that. And then maybe just the size of the text needs to be enlarged a bit. Give it 0.2. That's all right. And then the number is it's bolded, so I'm just gonna put it's not EM, it's strong. I'm gonna put a strong or a B. It does the same thing. B for bold or strong. That's fine. And then we need to give that a bit of space in the bottom margin. Bottom, let's do 5 pixels, just to give it a bit of space at the bottom. Maybe a bit more space will do. 7. Yeah, that's fine. And then the last one was a span right here. So we'll copy this again and paste it and do span. And then do the padding again. Give it 0.10%. And that's looking better. I'm seeing a lot of space here. If you wanted the exact measurements and the exact CSS, you can just right click, inspect, and then click on that specific element you're looking for, and then you can look at this one, for example, is 1 rm and the line height is 1.4. So if you do all of these, then it will look identical, but for time purposes, trying to speed this up, I'm just gonna move on because we've got the layout. That's the main thing. These little changes are fine. We've got an extra space here that I'm gonna remove, and right here as well, although it doesn't really matter. But let's move on. Second part, we've got the game container, and that will be a background color of white, and the height will be let's do that again. The height is 314. Height 314 by width 330? Yeah. Okay, and what else? We've got a padding of about 12 by 8. Padding 12 by 8 pixels. You can see that down here. The green is the padding, and then the margin is the outside. So we've done that. What else do we need? We need the content of the game container. So let's try to copy the content. We've got the title. This is not the title, but we're going to call it title anyway. Bag means, and then inside of that we'll call this option. First option we have heat, and then we have alarm carpet sack. Alarm carpet sack. So I've just added 4 options in one title, each one in a div, and we're gonna try and make it look a bit like this. So right now this is what we have, not great. And let's just add a justify content space between, so we can have a space between the items within. Alright, that's fine. what we do in the title, we want it to be in the center. Okay, so we're on game container. We do text align center. That should center it. It does. We want to add a bit of padding to the top. Padding top, we give it about 10%, 10 pixels. What we want to add that to is the title though. The title, so game container title. So it's gonna pick this and then the title inside of it. There we go. And then, is that fine? It looks like it's fine. I'm just gonna move it to 15 pixels instead and increase the font size to maybe 1.3 EM. Again, you could check the actual values in the console, but I'm not going to do that just for time. Game container, and then the option. Now here we want to actually get the color of the border box. So for this, I'm going to inspect, click, and then I should see a color right here. There we go. So we do border, just border, and then copy and paste that from here. And then we want to, what else do we want to do? We want to give it a padding. So let's just check what is the padding from here so that it can look slightly identical. We've got 5 by 10. That's strange, but 5 by 10. And what else do we have? It looks like we have a height. We also have a margin. We have a margin of 6 bottom. We have a margin of 6. We have a height, but let's check it out like this. So we need to add the height. The height will be, the height is 52. This one has a margin as well. So the height of this option is 52. Let's add that height, 52 pixels. Let's check that. That looks better. It's got a border radius as well. So the corners are curved. They're not sharp. So if you check here, you'll find a border radius somewhere right here. So it's 5% there. 5 pixels. Why do I keep saying percent? And then there's a margin as well that's not appearing for some reason, but I swear I added it. Pixels, that's why. And then here we need to add a margin bottom, which I think is also 6%, 6 pixels. That looks more than just 6. I guess this is, yeah, this title has a height of 50 as well. There we go. It's looking better. It's looking better, definitely. Just need to give it a border radius. You see right here the corners are not straight again. So we've got a border radius of 10 pixels this time for the game container. Border radius 10 pixels, yes. Looking very good. The text inside is not looking like it's aligned correctly, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something, and that something is justify content center and align item center, and that's not gonna do anything, but if you add a display flex to it, it should do the magic. But I added that in the wrong place. This is supposed to be for the option, so we're just going to move it down, save, check, perfecto. And I can see that the text in here for the options is bolded, so I'm going to do font weight bold. There we go, looking very good. And then for the third section that's currently invisible, I'm just going to add some random stuff. So for now we'll just put, actually, to make it look presentable, we'll put images. So we've got the lorem images here. Just go to this, copy it, and add it into the images container in a image tag. So image source, whoops, source, yep. Give you one more of that. And that should do it. But now we want to align this properly, so we do display flex, and we want to do flex direction column, and maybe justify content space between. Okay, there should be some space between them, but maybe we can just for now add a new line and keep it as that, because this is not even part of this at the minute, so that's fine. And I'm gonna give it a bigger width actually. Yeah, do 300 instead of 200. That looks better. So now we only have really, we've got the globe and then the footer. Let's do the globe, because that's going to be interesting, I believe. So the globe is going to the bottom of hero content. So at the bottom of hero content, I will add a div class. I actually forgot about this. Globe container. And inside this globe container, we will add, we actually have a ball in a globe. So what we want to do is put them all in one div. So we'll call this bottom section instead. And inside the bottom section, we'll have a div. We'll actually have two images. We'll have an image source. Let's check the source for globe. It's just globe, and rice ball is just rice ball. Globe assets globe.png, and what was the other one? Rice ball CVG. I'm gonna add a class to each of these, class globe and class rice ball. Sweet. Check the CSS and add globe and rice ball to it. My god, is this going to take an hour? That's unacceptable. So we've got globe. We want it to be positioned to the bottom. So we'll do absolute in bottom 0. We will also do, because globe is inside bottom section, so we need to do bottom section position relative, so that the globe is relative to the bottom section. Does not meant to look like this, but I believe it's because we've got the hero content as a flex, so it's going from left to right. We're supposed to have 3 sections, and we've just added a 4th section. So bottom section needs to be a position absolute instead of relative, and it should be bottom 0. There we go, that's looking better already. And let's close this off, we don't need it no more. So what we want to do here is we want to, number 1, create footer and give it a z index of 1, and bottom section should have a z index of 2, because we want it to be hidden. We want part of it to be hidden. Okay, I'm just seeing a bit of, there's a few things that I'd like to change. Right here, the height is not big enough for this, so we're just gonna increase it. For the globe states or global state stats, I can't even speak. The height, we've got it at 134, we're just gonna do 150 for now. And that's fine. Close this off and try to sort this out. So just to check again, I'm gonna have to open the console once more. If we check at the footer right now, I don't see any footer. But if we were to give the footer a height of, say, 200 and a background color of white, the footer content is what we're looking for, sorry. So we want to add the footer content and we want to add the height and the background to that. There we go, that's better. And now I want the footer to cover part of this, part of the globe. In order to do that though, we are gonna have to, I think we need to change this to be 1 and this to 2 instead. Not sure we need this. Let's try this out. Yeah, that's fine. So we've got the footer above this. Let's just increase the height of the footer for now so that we can really cover it. And then we just want to position it so that it's down here. To do that, we will do bottom section, and we want to move that. We want to change the size first of all of the image, the globe. So let's do dot globe, and then width. We copy the width and height from here. What do we have? We have width 450. 450. And here we actually have left 50% and transform, translate X minus 50%. This is just to center. This is literally just to center this globe. So we've got, again, we've got width 450. Width 450%. Oh my god, 450 pixels. There we go. That's looking a lot better. We need to add the ball on top of it. Let's check the CSS for the ball. We have got, do you know what? I'm copying this for now, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to make changes to it. So let's do ball, rice ball, width 100%, height, width 100 pixels, sorry, height 100%. Let's see what that gives us. Still can't see it, which is not good. Position, let's paste what we have and see how it comes up. I think we need to give it a z-index. Z-index of 3. Let's remove opacity 0 and check this again. Where is it? Where is it? It's all the way down here. We need to bring it up. Let's do 30%, 10%, 0%. There we go. That's looking much better. I think we will wrap it up by doing the footer, because this is taking way too long, and maybe I can do a part 2, or maybe this can be a challenge for you to try and create this part here, which I've left out on purpose. But let's continue. We've got the footer, we've got the footer content, and we want to do width, and that should be around 46% again. We have the left side, the logo container, so we want to pull up the logo here. So we do image source assets logo.cvg. Is it logo? I think it's footer. Footer.cvg, yep. And then we do class f logo for footer logo, and we just copy the address and move it here, and just put a B around it because it's bold. And also get this class, put it right here, and we'll just give it a width of 254 pixels. Excuse me. And on the right side we want to copy these and paste it here. I missed the T. For the social icons, we will go to font awesome icons and pull up Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook, Square Facebook, Facebook, Twitter we said. Twitter, is that Square as well? Yes it is. And Instagram. See through Instagram. There we go. If we look at this very quickly, it's obviously not laid out properly, but we'll take care of that. So we've done the width, but again we need to do margin auto to center it, and then we want to do, we've got right side and left side, right? Do we have left side? Yes, we do have left side and right side. We could do display flex and justify content space between. So I'm gonna go to the left side and give it a width of 50%. Width 50% and right side 50%. There we go. We want to move it down from the top by about, if you click on that and then go down here, you can see the padding is 36 by 4. So we want to do 36 by 4 padding. Padding 36 by 4. Whoops, wrong page. There we go. It's looking better. You've got a new line after Medici. Medici BR. That's new line. And then I guess wrap it in a div and call this div copyright container, and change this class to copyright text, and then move these two inside this. So now we can just give this copyright container the width of 46% and a margin of auto to center it, and voila. All that's left is to fix the height of the footer content. It's a bit too big, isn't it? So we want it to be maybe 200, and we want to give the copyright container a margin bottom of, let's say 50. Is that padding, not margin? Sorry. That way nothing gets displayed and we have everything we need. It's looking much better. Let's change the color of this to gray, and we can also change the link to light blue, but I'm going to leave that to you. What we want to do here is, let's try and get rid of this. That's fine. So we don't need the height. We just need to space this up a bit. So we've got space underneath climate change between the F content and the social icons. So if we do F content and do a margin bottom of 50, maybe, might be too much. It is too much. I think we need to bring, something looks off. I think it's the font size that's making it look small, and that is too big. Oh, that's alright. There's just a bit of extra space here which I can try to get rid of, but honestly I think we've done a good job of copying the website. See, right here we have this padding that we don't really want. Yeah, we don't need this padding at the bottom. So if we go to here, 36, we want it for the top, but we don't want it for the bottom, so it's a 0. Right here, as you can see, we got rid of that space. Maybe we wanted some space though, because it looks bad now. Yeah, that's fine. And then the bottom, we can just increase that to 70. So like I said, there's many ways of doing the same thing. I've just shown you one way. It's taken us way too long, but I hope this has been of benefit. And I'm gonna change this to 90. And do let me know if there's any specific websites that you'd like me to copy, and I'll be happy to do so. Just make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, till next time.